How is this scandal likely to play for a newly reelected president who just has weeks to steer the country away from the so-called fiscal cliff? ABC's George Stephanopoulos, host of This Week, is here. George, good morning. A lot of people, especially on the Republican side, raising questions about the timing, as Bianna asked in her question. Some people saying this is a little fishy. Why is it coming out right after the election? Is this scandal, does it have the potential to derail the president's agenda?
I don't think so, if that timeline does indeed hold up. I was a little surprised that even though this had gone on for several months, apparently the White House wasn't told until Wednesday, and the head of national intelligence wasn't even told until Tuesday. As long as that holds up, I don't think you're going to see any serious national security implications. But what you could see is, the president was already planning to replace Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, was also planning on leaving. Now with a vacancy also at the CIA, which, remember, is running our war right now against the top al-Qaeda officials. That could lead to some disruption, especially because there's also that investigation of what happened at Benghazi going on.
And I want to ask you about that because Petraeus was set to testify in the CIA's involvement in Benghazi this week. Now he's not expected to. His replacement is, but that's not... The Republicans are not happy about that situation.
That's unlikely to be good enough for a lot of members of Congress right now. Peter King already saying he wants to speak to Petraeus directly this morning on This Week. I'm going to be speaking to the Vice Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Saxby Chambliss. I want to ask him just that question. Do they still want to hear from David Petraeus himself? And we'll see what he says.
Quickly, George, on the fiscal cliff, the tax hikes that will go into effect on January 1 if Congress and the president can't cut some sort of deal. The president is saying, I want to raise taxes on rich people. The Republicans have come out and said, no go. Do you see any pathway to a deal here?
There's going to have to be a pathway to a deal because, as you point out, you're going to have a big hit on January 1st, at least $500 billion of spending cuts and tax increases. But right now, both sides are dug in. There does seem to be some middle ground. Is there a way to get new revenues out of the wealthy without raising their rates? That's going to be the question that they're going to be focusing in on these next several weeks.
George, thank you. As always, George has a must-watch show this morning. Senators Patty Murray and Saxby Chambliss, as he mentioned, along with his Powerhouse Roundtable. That's all coming up on This Week.